27 years ago, Patrick Peter revived the Tour de France automobile, where cars manufactured before 1981 take part in a series of races. Since then, its success never waned. Every year we get more requests than there are places, so we have to make a selection. It's not easy to have diversity, but that's become our trademark. We have very popular tourism cars as well as GTs of very, very high standard. We try to balance the plateau between those extremes. Every spring, Eric puts his job as architect on hold for 1 week. My story started in 2014 when I entered my first ever Tour Auto. That was simply extraordinary. I wanted to try it again in 2015, then in 2016, 17 and 2018. I entered this 1963 Ferrari 250 Lusso in middle-low irregularity. I chose this 250 because I love these cars and their Colombo mechanics, their pedigree. The Ferrari 250 Lusso is ready to take on the greatest old-timer race in the world, the Tour Auto Optique 2000, and Eric decides to drive to the Grand Palais on a beautiful sunny Sunday at the end of April. 240 lucky contestants have been chosen this year and make up a varied selection of cars identical to those who participated in the original Tour de France. This year, the theme chosen by the organizers is Lost Italian Car Manufacturers. The monstrous Di Tommaso Pantheras, of course, but also the tiny Auto Bianchi that remind a great number of 40 and 50-year-olds of their first ever cars. Not to mention the very rare and very elegant Oscar. It's a very well-engineered car, similar to Maserati. Logical, as the technical concept is the same. It's very, very light and very, very elegantly assembled, with small engines, probably a little fragile. But if you look at their history, you notice that these cars won a great number of races. Starting out, it's a 750cc engine, and they only built 15 of them. This one competed in the US in 1963 and was powered up, but only to 850cc. Small engine block. It's very light though, less than 400 kilos. The race start of the Tour Auto Optique 2000 at the Grand Palais has become, with the passing years, the Parisian must-see. Many celebrities can be seen wandering around, such as Gaspard Ulliel, or Miss France and the runner-up Miss Corsica. The Grand Palais is also where the contestants meet up again, as well as the very anticipated race start.
I can feel our energy, it's getting quite serious. Let's chase that feeling, try to keep it up, but I feel delirious. We'll keep it together, but you save me.
La veste rouge sera donc pour vous cette année la couleur des vainqueurs.
Tuesday morning at 5 a.m, and in less than 2 hours, the Grand Palais will quickly empty itself. It's a little nippy outside. The teams leave Paris early to avoid the traffic and the possible engine overheating. They head out to the Château de Courance, where the official race start will be given. For Eric Amoniau, it's a magical moment. This adventure will help him clear his head, driving his stunning Ferrari. We're running through the setups we did before the start of the race and those we should have done. They're old cars and can break down, even though parts were changed or checked. The race generates a little stress, of course, especially for those driving the older cars. and more so when they were fixed up in their garden sheds. The Gaillard family, father and eldest son, have brought their restored Peugeot 203. Yeah, I think the virus was definitely transmitted. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, starting at 8 years old with petrol filters. Yeah, there are 4 kids in the family. The eldest and I worked our hearts out since July 2017 to get the car out here today. Yeah, it's great fun. Our father supervises it. He teaches us tricks of the trade, you know, the details. And Mummy sews the seats. Yeah, let's not forget Mum. She really helps us out. And here's the 203. And 239 other contestants leave on a long journey to Nice that will be divided into 5 stages through Ile-de-France, Burgundy, Rhône-the-Alpes and Provence-Côte d'Azur Alps. 2,100 kilometers of stunning vistas, 10 time trials and 4 races on circuits. Vitamin intake is authorized, even advised. This event through France has built up a solid international reputation over the years. If Argentina has always been well represented, Japan showed up with an R8 Gordini, a rather exotic combination. Also, for the first time here, a Chinese team. I live in France now and have been here for over 10 years. 5 years ago, I started working as a journalist for car magazines as well as web. So after 5 years, I managed to bring 2 friends along that drive this Porsche and the Mercedes Pagoda behind it. And if the name Lili Long doesn't ring a bell out here, in China, she is a star actor, and her Tour adventure has been followed by numerous fans. And talking about the fans, a great number of them have gathered on the closed road specials to watch the cars race by, sometimes oversteering in the bends. They all have their favorite models, whether popular like the Peugeot 504, the Ford Escorts, the Fiat 600s, or the rarer models, such as this one. This is one of the 6 AC Cobra Daytonas ever built. The AC Cobra is a roadster like this one. They build 6 coupes with a very particular design to race the 24 Hours Le Mans. This is the one I came to see specifically. The Cobra Daytona was popular with a number of sightseers, and the happy owner certainly displayed his enthusiasm at driving in the Tour Auto. In 1964, the car competed in the Tour de France Automobile. I met people that had pictures of it then. It's extraordinary, and I realize how much these cars remain in our memories. After a long stage that took the Tour Auto Optique 2000 from Paris to Besançon, the race took a little altitude on Wednesday with the arrival at Megève and a ride through the Avery Pass at 1,500 meters. A day full of winding roads going up and down with a car race as a backdrop. The Tour Auto Optique 2000 may take us through the most stunning scenery and picturesque roads, but it's also a race that drivers want to win. The 2017 winners are back this year with their Ford GT40 and are leading since the start thanks to a well-thought-out strategy.
You know, that's a real special experience. And also it's quite rare to be in the car alongside someone, so you know, if it's my turn to drive and Andrew's in the passenger seat, or vice versa, it's kind of a different experience. But yeah, it's a real event as well for camaraderie. You know, when your teammates in a race car, you're never in the car together, but we're in the car together for the whole time, except for on the track, which is, you know, it's quite testing to a friendship at times.
This is the unique nature of the Tour Auto. It alternates between time trials on closed roads and track racing. François Chatriot, the tour opener and winner of the last original tour in 1986, knows what he's talking about.
Alors, ce qui est difficile, c'est qu'on alterne des circuits.
The difficulty is to alternate between track and closed roads. Circuits are flat by definition and easy to drive fast. As the road surface is flat, it's easy to fine-tune the cars. And as you get, like this afternoon, a special on a road called Chemin de la Guerre, which speaks for itself, it's very bumpy. You need to adapt your driving style. You need to be versatile and flexible. Doing very different things is one of the highlights of the Tour Auto. And I can tell you, between the Brest circuit this morning and this afternoon's special, there's no possible comparison. Adapting permanently is the key word in the Tour Auto. Between time trials on track and closed roads, contestants enjoy the scenery between locations. Thursday was quite a magical day with a drive through the Drôme. Peter Auto elegantly takes care of the contestants' well-being. Picnic basket distribution in Vif, just outside Grenoble, before driving through one of the most beautiful roads in France, just for enjoyment.
The picnic is really what I like the most for lunch. I think it's a place where you can regain energy with your teammate, which is really nice. An ideal moment to exchange thoughts. And we found a beautiful place to admire the cars. We have never had a view like this one on the other editions. I think it's amazing. We're not only here for the races and the competition, even if we like that. We also enjoy relaxing, looking at the beautiful landscapes. It's also a part of the rally. It's even the key of the Tour Auto to alternate times of relaxation and times of competition. This enchanting pause is short-lived as the race quickly picks up again in the afternoon with a technical section on the Lidnor circuit. The cars will not be spared. They might be well tuned and very well maintained by their owners. They remain all mechanical objects of 40, 50, sometimes 60 years of age. Sometimes there's breakage. It's completely beyond repair, as the whole rear end must be replaced. So for me, the tour is over. It's the fourth one with the Jaguar. Well, it couldn't make it until the end. It's too bad. Marc and Philippe were a mere 30 k's away from home. Christophe Dindy and Maxime Lepicier will be luckier. All of a sudden, everything stopped. We created havoc up there. We just couldn't start. And really what happened was, well, the battery exploded because of the heat. And after that, well, our special stage was a disaster. But, we're trying. We fixed everything now, carbs, battery, and we're trying to get back into the race. Is it nice to hear that sound again? Oh, yeah, that's really good. Cheers. That's really good. No other hiccups to get to the Avignon ramparts at the end of the third stage. The teams will spend the night in the City of Popes, but also spend the evening relishing a gourmet meal presented by starred chef Michel Chabran, also driver in the chef's team in the Tour Auto for a few years now. Today we start with a special. After that, we're lucky. We're off to the Paul Ricard circuit. It's going to be great. And after that, we'll end up with a little delight and the last special, where we hope to get a great result. Yves Badan and his driver Raphael Favaro are well up the grid in their little nimble Lotus Elan. Early in the morning in Avignon, unbeknownst to them, their end race will be a child's dream come true. And whilst we're on the subject, let's spend some more time with the friendliest team in this 27th edition.
Philip Kaduri from Hong Kong and Julian Byrne from the US, they're inside a fabulous and delicate Lancia Stratos Group 4. Since the start, they have accumulated mechanical failures, but who cares?
On the second day, we had a pretty big breakdown. The electrics on this car are 44 years old. They're all original wiring. And thankfully, our mechanic crew managed to isolate the wire after about 3 hours of searching, bypass it, and we've been running better than ever and having a lot of fun.
These friends have shared their enthusiasm every moment of the Tour Autour, and these kids will not soon forget their encounter with the Stratos. The Provençal day of the race, with the Mont Ventoux as decorum, is simply grandiose. Teams in the regularity race cross swords. This is not a speed contest. Teams have to average speeds of 50 km an hour and stick to them. Faster or slower results in penalties. In a nutshell, the co-pilot's indications are key here and help set the rhythm.
Adelantado medio. Seguí. En el 2, 9:39.
Since the start, the CG number 88 team leads. It's fragile though, and behind them, honorary places are being fought between the Alfa of Nicolas Pagano and co-pilot Michel Perrin, the Lancia Fulvia of Fichet and Malenfer, or the Peugeot 504 of Santis and Demoulin. And on the last circuit of the Tour Autour Optique 2000, the story repeats itself. Average speed has to be held. A tricky exercise on a track as wide as Paul Ricard. Eric Amonio seems to master it. He's in 8th position before the race on the Valois track, and the Ferrari purrs like a kitten. In the regularity category, a very rare BMW 507 can be seen. Built at 254 units, this prestige sports car was, in the 50s, a rival of the Mercedes 300 SL. It's a car of rare elegance with a V8, so expensive it almost ran BMW in the ground. A surprising commercial flop for such an extraordinary car. This one's unique in that it belonged to the same owner for 51 years. He was absolutely passionate about green and resprayed the car green. The original color was ivory. Yeah. Well, currently it's being restored at the BMW Classic Service in Munich. A lot of people that came to see me during the tour told me to leave it the way it is, but I had planned a complete restoration. Well, we'll probably raise the question again weeks before we get to work on it. Let's stay at BMW for a minute with the new M5, a 600 brake horsepower beast given to Ari Vatanen to open the Tour Autour Optique 2000 on the 27th of April. The rally champion was celebrating his 40th, or a little more. Well, age is a matter of perception, really.
Jeune et rapide, aujourd'hui je ne suis plus que rapide. Ça me va comme ça. Et 6 kilos.
Fayence in the Valois backcountry. From this stage on, and to the end in Nice on the Place Masséna, teams will drive on mountainous winding roads, providing intense driving pleasure during 3 specials. What more? 3 intense specials. The top spots in the regularity contest will play out here, as well as various other categories in the Tour Autour Optique 2000. This one, for example, for women teams, won by Valentine and Isabelle Péculier on a Ferrari Dino. Or Performance Index in the regularity. On the leaderboard of the regularity contest, Jean Rigondet and stepson Olivier Souillard finally win in front of Pagano and Perrin. A 100% French victory they built up since Paris in their little CG. Yeah, thanks to co-driving, my co-driver. He's really proficient. He monitors distance, speed, timing, and all of that is essential. Oh, well, actually, all I do is drive. Yeah, rather easy for me. The most deserving are probably these people. François Alain and Robert Puyal pulled it off by getting a 1952 Citroën 2CV Type A all the way down to Nice, by far the most popular of all on this 2018 tour. Yeah, no doubt about it. We were very popular with the crowd, as all the other cars were. But we had a clear feeling that the 2CV was a notch above the others, because there's a real identification with a car that's, well, such an icon. All the French families have had, directly or indirectly, a 2CV. So, you know, we feel that we came, well, the fact that we came with an old 2CV, you know, there's definitely a sort of kind of like a wink and a passionate response to this car. Yeah. The Vara backcountry holds many surprises, and the Château de Tollan is one of them. Out here, the survivors relax one last time, eating a well-deserved breakfast. And it's necessary to get your strength back, as the afternoon is long, with a series of specials with very evocative names, such as Roquesteron, La Bolène Vésubie and Turini. There's a little feeling of Monte Carlo rally in the air on this Tour Auto Optique 2000. The ultimate time sector is a showpiece that wraps up with the Turini Pass. The final standings will take shape right here. Yeah, Turini, we did it! Yeah, there's lots of emotion there. I mean, a piece of the Monte Carlo. Oh, very good. Loads of memories. Yeah, we're taking the car to Turini with our car. Can you imagine? Extraordinary. It's in Nice on the Promenade des Anglais at the Place Masséna that the 27th edition of the Tour Auto Optique 2000 will end. First of all, in the G category, for cars built between 66 and 71, the magnificent Ford GT40 of Patrick Auto and Sylvain Contrel, steady participants of the Tour, get the best result. Yeah, we really handled it well. Oh, it's a beautiful victory. We must be amongst the 10 first ones in the scratch. It's good for me. It's the first time I drive the car. It's all new for me, but it's a GT40, so I'm very lucky. It's a winning car. In Group HI, cars built between 1972 and 1981, the Porsche 911's RSR dominated. Christophe Van Riet and Caroline Griffney barely miss out on victory by 40 seconds, right behind the Americans Cooper McNeil and Gunnar Jeanette. In the competition performance index, Jean-François Penilla and his daughter Chloe win just like the previous year on board their Porsche 356 Pre-A. In the VHC class, though, the official winners of the Tour Auto Optique 2000, things will take on a dramatic twist. Leaders since the beginning of the race, Smith and Cottingham will break the gearbox on their GT40, and their car will arrive in Nice on an AA truck. This opportunity is too good for Swiss duo Favaro-Badin. Well, we thought we were going to come in second. What a surprise. We saw the GT40 on the side of the road. We overtook it on the before last special. It was making a strange noise, but, you know, we were not sure. So, well, second was a great result. Coming in first, just wonderful. On the Tour Auto Optique 2000 podium, Jousset and Miliotis come in second. Another Lotus Elan with Damien Koller and Sylvie Laboine finish third. Those are the prize winners of the 2018 edition. But for all of those who got to the Place Masséna, it's also a victory, and Eric Amonio is among them. Images of the road, incredible sights, unknown to us. Yeah, France is beautiful. It's really, really fun. The contestants with whom we shared the journey, in front or behind, are really nice. 174 teams went to the end of their dream this year. Everyone returns home with a week full of strong ethereal images and will nurture them until next spring and a new edition of the Tour Auto Optique 2000.